You've been at the top of the sport for some almost 30 years now. How has it changed in that time?
It's changed, obviously it's changed a lot. The courses are much more technical now, they're much lighter. Time allows is much tighter, you know, the standards are much higher. You know, it's just obviously progressed like every sport does, you know, it gets better and better and better.
And has that changed your riding at all over those years?
Yeah, I'm sure it has, yeah. Yeah, you have to think much more about the way you're riding, you know, you've got to be much more precise about everything, really.
And the sport itself has changed. It's always been a very professional sport, but, you know, the 80s when you guys were winning European golds to now when you're picking up medals, the approach, the vision is very different. Yeah,
it is. I think, you know, horse side of it, I think you have to have your horses much better worked. Obviously, you know, like the flat work's got to be pretty spot on, you know, you can't get away with the things you used to be able to get away with. You know, like I say, the jumping as well, you know, now they have to be very, very clean jumpers, very careful. But, you know, they still need the scope, so. What
is the element that makes you a winner? You've won silver medals at Olympics, golds at Europeans.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, you know. I mean, you obviously have to be a good rider for a start, that's one thing. Then, you know, the experience in the ring, you know, when to hold it together and, you know, when to take a chance, when not to take a chance, you know, that's experience. And then when you found the horses, producing them right, then looking after them, make sure they keep, you know, you don't want to burn them out in a couple of years, you know, you want to keep them going as long as you can, you know, as long as they can keep going. So it's like 24/7 really, you're at it every day, trying to produce horses, you know, which you have to do. You know, it's nearly impossible to buy one at the top, so the only way, really, you know, the only way I can do it is by bringing horses on, really. So you have to buy them, you know, whatever age you think the best value for money, and then spend a lot of time producing them. This is where we do most of the jumping. It's a little bit bigger than the indoor. There's plenty of room, you know, can get a couple of lines up and different fences.
We see the fences out here, but there's so much done on the flat work as well. How much do you do on the flat?
Yeah, 90% of the horses' work is actually on the flat. We don't do that much jumping. Obviously, we have to do a little bit more with the younger ones, but the older ones, it's mainly, you know, fitness work and flat work.
And how many horses have you got here now? How many have you been working in this arena during a day?
Yeah, every day, probably 25.
Gets a hammering.
Yeah, it does, yeah, it does. Yeah, this is Eudokus Simon Davis. He's a really nice one. He's 9 this year. But I've jumped him quite a few international shows, and he's won a few. And he should be a very, very good one actually. A good temperament, everything. You know, well, you can see on his face, he's a really, really genuine horse. I think we've got probably got about 7 or 8 7-year-olds. You know, then a couple of 6-year-olds, a couple of 5-year-olds. You know, then 4-year-olds. You know, we try and keep a certain amount coming through all the time. So, you know, they're not all superstars, but hopefully if you get 1 or 2 out of the whole lot, you know, it's not too bad.
One that has proved a superstar is GIGMI, winner in Italy.
He won the World Cup in Verona, which was only his second one he jumped in. Actually, the first one was Verona the year before. He won that, then Olympia was very close. He had one down the jump off, but he was very close to winning that one. He's got a good, you know, very good sort of outlook. He's big, like for me he's very big, but he's very nice to ride. You know, he's easy to ride. He's not like a big horse to ride, which is important.
And how long have you had him?
I've had him probably 3 years now. You know, brought him up from a young one, which helps as well because he tends to know, you know, their ins and outs, and he knows my ins and outs as well. So.
What hopes would you have for him in the future?
I think hopefully we need a bit of luck, but you know, you'd be looking at like the World Championships. You need a bit of luck for things like that, but you know, the scope-wise and everything is not a problem. You know, you can jump the big fences, that's no problem. So, you know.
Kentucky 2010.
Hopefully, yeah.
What are we talking to keep a horse like that on the road for a year?
Yeah, I would think it'd be probably, I would say, 25. You'd be talking about 25 grand, you know. But that's just for one horse. It's an expensive job.
But in terms of winnings, what can you turn that into?
Yeah, last year he only did probably 7 shows altogether, and he won. I would say he probably won about £80,000. So, you know, the good horses can win.
cyberspace, I think, down there. Puissant's horse, both you and William have been riding.
That's right. He's we've only had him this year, but he's been very good at Puissant's. I won a big thing with him in Rome. He jumped 225 there. It was a big bonus, so it was. He's big, obviously a big jumper. He's very good for that job, you know. Very brave and very good for that job.
And how does it work? I mean, Williams rode it, you've rode the horse. They interchange well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, he's not that difficult to ride actually. He's just a bit of a stallion, you know. You have to be aware of that. But apart, you know, he's very brave at it, you know.
And Michael, another of your international rides.
Yeah, Takerai. He was very good in the Masters at Olympia. He was a bit lucky. He got into the last round, and I was trying to beat Ben Mayer, and he had one down, but he actually jumped very, very good. It was very big. And he hasn't quite got the experience at that level, you know. So he did do very, very well. And he should be, you know, this year he should really go on and jump, you know, jump everything. I think he can jump the big Grand Prix, you know.
And this horse came from an amateur rider through to you.
Yeah, Michelle Gatland, she still owns him. Yeah, she did a very good job, you know. She's giving very good experience. He came, you know, and he's just got right on with it. So this year should be a good year for him, you know, a big year for him. And
she gets to go to all the shows and enjoy it at this level as well.
Yep. You know, I've never actually won a major championship. You know, I've second in European championships twice, second and third twice, I think, in the World Cup final. So. Be nice to win one pretty soon.
Michael Whitaker, GIG Portofino.
You've had tremendous team success. You've been part of some very successful teams.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been in, I think, 3 European. I've got 13 or 14 championship medals, so yeah, I've done all right. But it's just nice to win one.
And what about the long-term plan? You're approaching 50-50 now. I mean, what is the long-term plan for Michael Whitaker?
Yeah, as long you know, the important thing is to keep fit and keep finding horses, and then you keep enjoying it. And you know, so far I've got no, you know, I can't see me retiring in the next couple of years. So you know, John's still going strong, and he's a lot older than me.